Fitz, you gotta stand. As the chair of this commission, I call this meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to order at 5:00 p.m. This Zoom webinar is being live streamed on YouTube on the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning. Closed captioning, ASL interpretation in Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in this meeting. Email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translation services for this meeting. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodations should also contact redistricting@michigan.gov. This meeting is being recorded and will be available at www.michigan.gov/MICRC for viewing at a later date. This meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the michigan.gov/MICRC website, along with written public comment submissions. There is also a public comment portal that may be accessed by visiting michigan.gov/MICRC. This portal can be utilized to post maps and comments to the commission and the public. Members of the media who may have questions before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Communications and Outreach Director for the Commission at woodse3@michigan.gov or 517-331-6309. For the purposes of the public watching and for the public record, I will turn to the Department of State staff to take note of the commissioners present.
Good evening, commissioners. Please say present when I call your name. If you're attending today's meeting remotely, please disclose where you are attending from and that you are attending remotely. I will call on commissioners in alphabetical order, starting with Doug Clark.
Present.
Juanita Curry.
Present and attending the meeting from Detroit, Michigan.
Eid.
Present.
Brittany Kellum.
Present and attending remotely from Wayne County, Michigan.
Rhonda Lang.
Present and attending remotely from Reed City, Michigan.
Steve Lett.
Present.
Cynthia Orton.
Present.
MC Rothhorn.
Present.
Rebecca Satella.
Present.
Janice Follett.
Present.
Aaron Wagner.
Present, attending remotely from Charlotte, Michigan.
Richard Weiss.
Present.
Justin Witches.
Present.
All commissioners are present.
Thank you, Ms. Reinhardt.
Madam Chair, point of personal privilege.
Certainly, Mr. Lett.
Thank you. As you are aware, we've made several changes in our upcoming schedule, one of which is going to change the public hearing schedule. Edward Woods III has had an opportunity to review that, and I would ask that if he could give us an update on that schedule at this time, please.
Director Woods.
Sure. Let me, for the purpose of the public, let me go ahead and remote in so everybody can see my screen. That's okay?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Recording in progress.
All right, thank you for your patience. I had an opportunity and I want to make sure I'm getting everything correct because your staff has been working quickly to get this. Okay. Hold on just a quick second. All right, the commission is at the end of its meeting. I just want to share with you what I have. Provide background. The commission seeks to draw fair maps with citizen input in compliance with the 7 ranked redistricting criteria. Knowing that quality supersedes preference, the MICRC's resolve to engage the public during the second round of public hearing remains undeterred. The MICRC directed the Communications Outreach Director to bring back a recommendation to the commission for the 5 public hearing locations. In consultation with MICRC and MDOF staff, here are the recommendations. Oh, let me stop that. There we go. Host of public hearings at the following locations. TBD, to be determined, would be Detroit, but we would look at August 26th. Flint would be to be determined, but we're looking at the 20th. And then Gaylord, it says dates. They had 2 dates available, but they just called and they only have 1 date available, which is the 25th. Grand Rapids and Lansing are the existing dates that we have on the calendar that would coincide with the time frame approved by the commission of October 18th to the 26th. So we do not have dates yet for Detroit or Flint, but for Gaylord, they do have the 25th available. For Grand Rapids, they have the 18th available. And for Lansing, we have the 21st available. One of the things that we do have and that we would strongly encourage and push is remote participation by following our remote process as offered through the our meeting notification where people can call for phone calls to make comments to the commission, as well as going through Zoom. I did have a chance to get an opinion from our general counsel with regards to simulcast, and I would like to turn it over to her to share that opinion.
Who were you turning over to, general counsel?
Please.
Oh, yes, that's what I thought. Okay.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Yes, I received a query about a half hour ago about this idea. So I thought it was coming back tomorrow. So no, the public hearings must be noticed and held, conducted per the normal course of the commission's operations. And I do not recommend using any alternative methods for they're not required or necessary. The MICRC already provides sufficient opportunities to provide remote participation, and public testimony already exists through live testimony, through remote testimony, through the public comment portal. So hosting or partnering with organizations goes outside of the nonpartisan charge of the MICRC, particularly if this is being associated with our official MICRC meetings. This could, well, let me not read that part. so my recommendation is that the 5 public hearing locations throughout the state be selected by the MICRC, and those hearings be noticed and held as the MICRC has consistently done in the past, would be my advice to the commission.
Thank you, General Counsel. Mr. Woods, I will turn it back to you.
I just heard back from Flint, and so Flint has the 26 available. So let me just update the slide so that everybody can see what we're talking about in real time. Hold on. All right, so working through texting is possible, but the Flint says they do have the 26th available. Gaylord is only available on the 25th within the prescribed time frame, and we already have Grand Rapids and Lansing reserved for the 18th and the 21st. So we would be looking to go to Detroit on either the 19th or 20th based on what's available. And the reason why we wanted to present, just so we're on the same page, is so that we're in the current news cycle, so that the information is reported.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I'd like to
Commissioner Clark?
put forward a motion that we approve these locations and have give Edward the flexibility to change the dates depending on availability of the facilities.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Clark, seconded by Commissioner Lett to approve the locations of the 5 public hearings that are currently displayed on the screen, which is Detroit, Flint, Gaylord, Grand Rapids, and Lansing, with the dates to have some flexibility as required by Mr. Woods. Is there any debate or discussion on the motion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Only the clarification that, again, if the commission is adopting the dates that Mr. Woods was able to confirm, and then the Detroit date, it's my understanding that the Detroit date would be the one that would need to be
The Detroit date's the
adopted.
only one?
Is that the only, I've got a computer.
Right, I'm sorry, I can't see you.
Yeah,
19th or 20th would be the only days that would suffice.
perfect.
And so I just need the flexibility to go between those 2 dates. And if there's a preference by the commission, please instruct me to let me know. But I just don't know what's going to be available at the TCF Center. Just for the purpose of the public, in Detroit, we're at the TCF Center. At Flint, we're at the Dort Center. At Gaylord, we're at Treetop Resorts. At Grand Rapids, we're at the Amway Plaza Hotel in the Ambassador Ballroom. And in Lansing, we're at the Lansing Center.
All right. Any debate or discussion? I can't see anybody who is online other than Commissioner Curry. So if you are online and have any debate or discussion on the motion, please verbally indicate. All right, hearing none, let's go ahead. Oh, Commissioner Eid, I'm sorry. I almost forgot about you.
I'm just wondering what everyone thinks about Lansing, because we're in Lansing for our, weekly meetings quite a bit. So do we think, do we want to include Lansing in these 5 public hearings, or would we rather have a different place around our state?
Any thoughts, comments, questions?
I have no, I guess I'm just thinking about the ability for our director to actually do this. And I'm just thinking, like, I know it's short term and I know that we've got to turn this around relatively quickly. I do appreciate your concern, Commissioner Eden. It makes a lot of sense. And I guess I really offer it back to Director Woods. Is it even an option? Do we have that flexibility?
Mr. Woods?
Thank you, Commissioner Ede and Commissioner Rothwell through the chair. The basis in identifying the sites was looking at regions, not necessarily considering where we meet. And so what is feasible in terms of getting the population centers to these meetings? And so that's the purpose of it. Granted, yes, we do meet in Lansing, and yes, we do meet in Detroit, but that was not the purpose of it. It was looking at the regions that we have and what would make the most sense with the 4 sites that are no longer being recommended. So just so you know, it was not looking at where we meet every week, but what does it make sense for Michigan residents in terms of coming and participating. So I hope that helps, because Lansing, if we look at it, we're now in, Detroit is the #1 media market. Flint is, I don't know if it's 3rd or 4th, because it's Lansing would be either 3rd or 4th. Second, obviously, is Grand Rapids. And then the lesser media market would be Gaylord, which is Northern Michigan. So we've actually covered each media market that's really based within the state. Obviously, we have Indiana and Ohio for those border Michigan territories, but we now have all 5 media markets covered with this plan.
Thank you. Any additional questions? All right, if not, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, we have a motion on the floor to adopt these dates for public hearings with the caveat that, adopt these locations for 5 public hearings with the caveat that Edward will have flexibility around the Detroit meeting as to what actual date that will occur on. We have a motion by Commissioner Clark, seconded by Commissioner Lett. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please raise your hand and say nay.
Nay.
So by a vote of 12-1, the ayes prevail and the motion is adopted. Thank you very much, Director Woods. All right, continuing with our meeting, as a reminder to the public watching, you can view the agenda at www.michigan.gov/MICRC. I will now entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Witches, seconded by Commissioner Lett. Is there any discussion or debate on the motion? Hearing none, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please raise your hand and say nay. The ayes prevail and the meeting agenda is adopted. Without objection, we will begin public comment pertaining to agenda topics portion of our meeting. Hearing no objection, we will proceed with public comment pertaining to agenda topics. Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide in-person public commentary to the commission will now be allowed to do so. Please step to the microphone when I call your number. You will have 2 minutes to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. First in line to provide public comment is number 1.
Do you have juice?
And you are now invited to address the commission.
Number 1, I'd like to address the communities of interest. I've been to others and I've watched online, and it seems to me that most people want to keep their village, their city, their township, their county as whole as they can. And from what I see of the maps that you're starting out with, that seems to be the last thing that's on your mind. I would encourage, number one, I understand we have to follow federal requirements first. I would encourage you to just take and have an AI program, draw the maps, and then tweak it as you want to after that. I mean, just move a little bit here, move a little bit there. Because from what I can see, you're going from a Republican gerrymander to a Democrat gerrymander. And that's not the voice of this people. That's more or less what our Secretary of State has in mind. Again, the communities of interest, from what I see, is villages, cities, townships, counties. If you can follow that, make that your primary instead of maybe a secondary, I think that is the will of the people. I'll let it go at that.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 2.
I didn't give you my name, Jonathan Leposki, and I live in Waterford, Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. Leposki. Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission and all who are in attendance tonight. My name is JJ Jewell. I'm a union member out of UAW Local 228 at the Ford Sterling Axle plant and also a political science major here at Oakland University. I come before you to urge the commission to redraw lines that facilitate fair and competitive elections. The end result should translate into politics that we have not seen in Michigan for quite some time. We need elections where winners are determined by the new ideas and policies they have and how much work they put into public service, rather than simply depending on their party affiliation and whether or not their district already leans heavily for or against those leanings. As such, fairness needs to be at the top of everybody's mind on this commission, a priority. We cannot operate on a draw lines first and then find out if they are fair later approach. These leans need to be drawn with true and deliberate intent to change our elections in a way that makes each and every candidate earn the vote of the citizens they want to represent. Doing this will result in more competitive elections, which will result in a higher standard for all political candidates to have to meet in order to win. The only way to create this atmosphere of fair and competitive elections is for the commission to proactively make sure that we are creating districts that do not favor one party over the other, either way, and then to double check that and then to triple check that. Otherwise, the voters, not politicians petition drive, the people of Michigan having their voice heard when decisively voting in favor of this ballot initiative a few years ago, and all this time and money and resources spent on forums to administrate this change will have been for nothing. I also have to note that getting rid of 2 opportunities in Metro Detroit for public comment from areas that are densely populated, Warren and Livonia, when that greater region makes up for 50% of the state, give or take, might be slightly suppressing the citizens of Michigan giving their input on this. Just do what's necessary, do what's right, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 3.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? My name is Connie Dow, and this is my husband, John. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to you today. We've been residents of Rochester for approximately 16 years. We love the community, and that's what I'm here to talk about, is specifically Rochester Hills, which I think make up the criteria for a community of interest. We have the same school district, the same library, the same downtown, the same senior citizen center, the same trails, the same municipal park. You don't even know when you're going from one town to the other. So all people who live in Rochester and Rochester Hills have a common interest in exactly the same things. And it makes absolutely no sense to carve out part of Rochester Hills as it is right now, or to break up the two cities. So I just want to ask you to not break them up, and thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 4.
Hello. My name is Anita Fitz, and I'm a retired IT project manager, and I have lived in Rochester Hills for over 40 years. And my first concern is similar to the one you just heard, is that Rochester and Rochester Hills are currently not in the same district. Most of us do regard it as one community, and those folks listed a whole bunch of things that we share as part of that community. We just have separate governments. Now, Rochester itself is almost surrounded by Rochester Hills. So what you said, it does not make sense to carve out a piece from the middle and put it in a different district. It just doesn't make sense. And both parties are represented for the district. And I understand there could and should be more seats for Oakland County than the drafts show. Southeast Michigan is more densely populated than other parts of the state, which I'm sure you understand and you are aware of this. People are represented in our legislatures, not geography. My second concern is about partisan fairness, as was discussed before too. We need you to reconsider the maps that are currently drawn to ensure that this principle is applied. I understand that the current drafts are pretty much all leaning toward one party, and that's the Republicans. This is contrary to the criteria established for the commission and cannot stand. Those elected from such districts, whether they are one party or the other dominant, will not feel as compelled to take into consideration conflicting sets of opinions and to be willing to compromise on legislation. And that's what we have going on now. Now, this is a major reason why many of us voted for the proposition. So we're asking you to please work harder on this point. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 5.
Hi, can you hear me all right? Is this good? Hey, everyone. My name is Max. I live in Wayne County. I just want to start by saying thank you so much to the commission. I know this task is incredibly complicated and difficult, so thank you all for your time and dedication on it. I've been watching a lot of sessions, and I was here earlier this afternoon and felt compelled to respond to something. I know the commission was told that they cannot use partisan data while making the maps. But I just want to say that is nowhere in our state constitution that prohibits saying that you cannot use partisan data while making your maps. I do understand that there are some partisan fairness measures, such as the efficiency gap, that you need a full, complete statewide map of districts to use. But let's not kid ourselves. The current draft maps, as they stand, are heavily favored towards one party over the other. And tomorrow's analysis is going to show that. So the question I have for the commission is, how are we supposed to un-gerrymander the current draft maps if we are not able to use partisan data while you are actually making the maps themselves? I know that there was a lot of fun metaphors earlier this afternoon. I want to try one out for myself. This is like saying that the Constitution is requiring you to bake a cake, and yet you are also being told the Constitution prohibits you from measuring ingredients or taste testing the batter, that you simply are just supposed to put it into the oven and hope it turns out great. Which begs the question, then what? Like, what are you supposed to do for the next cake? Do you want to keep guessing and checking and doing the trial and error? To me, that sounds like a waste of precious cake baking and map drawing time. So just like everyone else, I want a delicious slice of fair constitutional cake. I think it's something that we all want here, but I just want to know, that if you're not using partisan data while you're actually checking your maps, you're just hoping to get lucky. I hope that I'm the one misunderstanding something here. And I also hope that you all consult the state constitution and see that there is nothing prohibiting you from using partisan data as you make your maps. Thank you all very much and good luck.
Thank you for addressing this commission. Number 6.
Good afternoon. I hope you can hear me. Thank you for the opportunity as well. My name is Evelyn Archer Petrowski, and I'm from Oxford, Michigan, and I'm a precinct delegate. And I am here to encourage the commission to place Oxford's precincts 3 and 5 in District 47 with the rest of Oxford and Addison, because we share one single school district, and that unifies us, whether we are Republicans, Democrats, or independents, and we all like cake as well. We're hoping that you do this as another example, not just that we share the same schools, Oxford and Addison, and precincts 3 and 5. I do teach at a local church, and we have students from all of those Oxford precincts, including 3 and 5. And in regard to our schools, even our sports teams are unified, including 3 and 5. And that makes us whole. We know the people who compete with each other, against each other, and it's a unifying thing. Not only that, our local governments work closely together. So in Oxford Village, Oxford Township, including Addison, we all work together, and it's another unifying part. So I just wanted to express that this is the will of our entire whole Oxford district. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 7.
Now, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And I haven't been paying too much attention until recently, and I went and saw there that we were using racial statistics to segregate out the various communities. Now, it's kind of funny. I've heard that happen before, and it never seemed to work out very well for anyone. If you want to empower the communities, keep the communities together. Make sure that everybody has their equal representation. If you want to be anti-racist, stop the segregation. If we have a system, requirements that require discrimination based on race, congratulations. You can take a stand against systemic racism. Now, for my particular nitpick, keep Oxford, Clarkston, Lake Orion together. We're a community over there. There is a weird C-shaped thing for District 30 that kind of goes from Lake Orion down Auburn Hills and then under Pontiac. I have no idea what that is about. But you already have a community with Pontiac and Auburn Hills, with a community there in the industrial area. So keep the communities together, please. And regarding this racist stuff, no.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 8.
When I've spoken before, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Gary Moorhead, and I live in Auburn Hills. I want to give you some insight maybe on the proportion of the ingredients in your cake as you go forward. I love that analogy. I also want to call out a good idea that the commission is working with, which is that idea of spokes. If you think of Detroit as kind of like if you draw a semicircle around downtown at some radius, like maybe about 12 miles out or so, you'll encompass the minority, the voting age Black population that you're looking to package into districts, and you're looking to put them in with non-minority people. I think there might be something like 700,000 a voting age Black population. And if you're going for a 45% percentage in the districts, that means you're going to need to mix in about 800,000 non-minority people. In order to have a circle that expands out and collects like about 1.5 million people, well, you can go on Redistrictor, like I tried to do but ran out of time to do before this, and you'll probably draw a semicircle that goes out about 12 miles. I grew up at 12 Mile and I-75 in Madison Heights, so I kind of know what 12 miles out from downtown looks like. I lived in Royal Oak. I lived at 14 Mile. Same sort of thing. So I'm guessing it's like 12 to 14 miles out that your spokes may need to extend. That's a rough calculation. Don't make maps based on that, but it just take the idea that maybe you've got this semicircle that fans out from downtown. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 9.
Hello, my name is Mercedes Worsing. I live in Oakland Township, and I am here to speak on behalf of dear friends that I have known for many years that live in Oxford. And Oxford is a beautiful village in the township, and you really want to keep precinct 3 and 5 together because of the families and the young people and the businesses. They collaborate, they get together for festivals. It's a very united community. You want to keep the families and the relatives together. They attend the same churches, and you really want to do what is best for a small town economically, for all the businesses to be able to get together and see what is best for its community, especially during the times that we are in with the economics, that we want to make sure that we support our businesses. And therefore, I really want you to keep precinct 3 and 5 together with District 47. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 10.
Hello, my name is William Asher. I'm a precinct delegate from Royal Oak, Democratic precinct delegate. I want to take this opportunity to reiterate the importance of the redistricting process to create fair maps. To me, a fair map will produce the following result. If a majority of votes in the state are for candidates of one political party, then the majority of the seats in each legislative chamber and the congressional districts will be occupied by candidates of that party. The 2011 gerrymander produced the opposite results. Democrats have received majorities of votes in recent years, mostly, but Republicans have received most of the seats in the legislature. You're probably aware that the Michigan AFL-CIO has produced proposed maps of state, Senate, and House districts. They produced these maps with strict regard for the 7 constitutional criteria. Some of the resulting districts ended up being safe Democrat districts, others are safe Republican districts, and the rest, about 1/3, are competitive. These competitive districts will make it possible to produce legislative majorities for the political party that obtains the most votes overall in the state. While it would be impossible to achieve the ideal of making all House and Senate districts competitive, having as many competitive districts as possible will reflect the true will of the majority of the state. I believe the AFL-CIO maps achieve this goal. As far as I can tell, they did not come up with a recommendation for the 13 congressional districts. I tried that myself this afternoon and came up with a map using their criteria with 3 Republican districts, 2 Democrats, and the remaining 10 were competitive, which again was going to result in a fair election. In conclusion, the spirit of the constitutional amendment that created this commission was fairness. Please keep fairness as your top priority.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 11.
My name is Ali. I am a resident of West Bloomfield. First and foremost, I'd just like to thank you all for stepping up and taking this duty to ensure that voters are choosing our politicians and not the other way around. And particularly, I'd like to thank you and commend you for the 25th district, 25th State House District, which you drew, which encompasses all of West Bloomfield, all of Orchard Lake Village, all of Kego Harbor, and all of Sylvan Lake, as well as a portion of Commerce. These municipalities are a clear community of interest. They share city services. They share, for the most part, West Bloomfield School District, and they have very similar demographics across the board. And personally, as a young person and somebody who is the son of immigrants, I've gotten involved with engaging voters who are typically not likely to get involved with the process. And it's very difficult to do when the 2010 gerrymander sliced and diced this community and it's very difficult to do when people don't know who their representation is. And so this proposal to keep the 25th district together of West Bloomfield and the surrounding municipalities would be phenomenal to ensure that communities which have historically been underrepresented are able to have a voice and are able to voice their concerns and know who their state rep is when they have something that needs to be, when they have a concern that they want to voice in the state legislature. And so once again, I thank you for your stepping up and taking this role. And I hope we can reach a reasonable solution which values democracy. Thank you so much.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 12.
Hi, my name is Chris Leduc. I'm a resident of West Bloomfield Township. Everything Ali said as far as the map and District 25. And right now we're pretty sliced and diced. I have neighbors north of me who are in one district, neighbors south of me who share their district, and I'm in the middle and I'm in a different district than either of them. And just to give you an idea of, because the other thing is because of the way the state house is different than the politics of our state house districts are different than the politics of our city, West Bloomfield. And so we're working on a water supply issue in our community. We have a private well. We're trying to coordinate with both the city, the county, and the state. And there's not a lot of bipartisan cooperation in Lansing. So it's tough for us to go to our Democratic congressperson, our Democratic Township Commission, and then our Republican state legislature to try to get consensus on funding for our community water system. So that's just one example of and in 25, it's all of West Bloomfield, it's Sylvan Lake, it's Kego Township, as the other gentleman said, both on a congressional district, we're not being split up, but also from a state legislative district, we're not being set up. So having those two things together is certainly good. The other thing that I'd like to say, and I had participated with Voters Not Politicians, is I do see in the criteria where it says that you can't give a partisan advantage to one party or the other as far as outcomes. I'm not sure, it doesn't say don't intentionally do it, it says don't do it, like that's a criteria. So I'm not sure how you don't do that without hypothesizing what the outcomes are going to be. I mean, the number one argument against VMP and against the proposal was that there is no gerrymandering, it's all through self-selection. And self-selection is a thing. So you really can look at geographies, anticipate how the elections are likely to, what the outcome is going to be, and then measure those against the maps. So I'd encourage you to take partisan politics and at least what the outcomes would be in order to meet the criteria of the commission. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 13.
Hello. First, I'd like to thank everybody as part of the commission for doing the work that you're doing. I know public service is not easy. My name is Ashley Atisha. I'm from Kego Harbor, Michigan. I was elected to Kego Harbor City Council in November 2020. I'm here today, like the two people before me, to speak about the draft of House District 25. Thank you so much for putting the city of West Bloomfield Township, Sylvan Lake, Kego Harbor, and Orchard Lake all together. Currently, West Bloomfield is the only large town in the state to be divided into 2 House districts, 2 Senate districts, and 2 congressional districts. This makes no sense for the community at a local level. From my home in Kego Harbor, I know if I drive 2 miles in any direction, I'll have a new congressperson or a new state representative. It makes sense for all of these communities to be together and to stay together, including keeping West Bloomfield together as an entire township. Additionally, I'd like to say, I know that the communities all share services at the local level. West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor uses West Bloomfield School District. We share West Bloomfield Police Dispatch. We also share West Bloomfield Fire Department. We're part of the West Bloomfield Greater Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Commission. From the local level, all of these communities work with one another and are meant to stay together. And I hope that you recognize that at the higher levels as well. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 14.
Hello, my name is Yousef. I'm from Troy. I graduated from Oakland University with a computer science degree not very long ago. Now, I am only speaking for Troy, Rochester Hills, and Sunny Heights, and other districts. So forgive me if I don't know much about other communities and other districts. I want to thank you, commissioners, of all of you, for the great nonpartisan work you are doing so far. I especially like grouping Rochester Hills, Troy with Sterling Heights. We do share common grounds. Madison Heights and Warren would be more represented to District 1. A word of advice. If you find both Republicans and Democrats on your case and unhappy with your redistricting, it means you are truly doing a nonpartisan work. As soon as either one of them are happy, I call on the independents, especially commissioners, to change things a bit so both parties are unhappy again. As of now, I hear both do not like the proposal maps, which is good. The current redistricting take communities into account and not political parties. And I repeat, so far, please don't deviate at all from the current proposal of grouping Rochester, Rochester Hills, Troy, and Sterling Heights. Please do not use a computer to do this. As a computer scientist, I know software can be manipulated. Just one suggestion, consider grouping Macomb as well in District 6. I first was worried about this, thought it would be more influenced by either one of the parties, but so far, you guys are doing an excellent nonpartisan work. Thank you all.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 15.
Hi, my name is Linda Cook. I've been a resident of Warren for 42 years. I was a school bus driver for 25 in Warren Consolidated School District. And I just want to say, I think I have some insight as to what it takes to make a community, and a big part of it is in the schools. First, I want to say that I was very active in getting signatures for the petition to get proposal 2 placed on the ballot. I wanted to have new fair maps drawn up that would represent the will of all Michigan voters. I felt the current maps did not meet the standard of fair maps. I feel the commission has created plans for the state House, the state Senate, and Congress that heavily favor Republicans again. They appear to be slightly less of a gerrymander than the old maps were. When you divide up school districts and you don't keep communities together, you are dividing up communities of interest. Schools such as Lamphir of Madison Heights, Hazel Park, Warren Consolidated, Fitzgerald, etc., are communities of interest that I feel should be kept together. They represent neutral income levels and housing types. So I'm asking the commission to please take everything into account and make changes to get their maps as close to zero political bias as possible. This would ensure the voters of Michigan that the commission is doing everything possible to create a statewide map that will reflect the partisan balance of Michigan as a whole. And thank you very much for hearing me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Is that 15? Okay. All right. That concludes our in-person public comment for the evening. At this point, we are going to move to remote public comment. Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide remote public commentary to the commission will now be allowed to do so. I will call on your name and our staff will unmute you. If you are on a computer, you will be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute yourself and speak. If you are on the phone, a voice will say that the host would like you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. I will call on you by your name. Also, please note that if you experience technical or audio issues, or we do not hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, we will move on to the next person in line and then return to you after they are done speaking. If your audio still does not work, you can email redistricting@michigan.gov and we will help you troubleshoot so you can participate during the next public comment period at a later hearing or meeting. You will have 2 minutes to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. First in line to provide public comment is Don Jordan.
Hi, thank you. My name is Don Jordan and I'm calling in today from Northville where I live. When I and so many others across Michigan voted for Prop 2, we were demanding district maps that are both fair and representative of our state's voters and values. It wasn't a partisan thing. It was the idea that partisan politicians should be removed from the process in order to create something better. The maps as they've been presented continue to heavily favor Republicans and do not meet the standards of fair maps. What has happened so far is you've created a bunch of Republican districts and packed Democrats into just a few places. The missing piece, as others have noted, is partisan data, which is absolutely critical to achieving fair maps with as little political bias as possible. Partisan data would help to clarify how many Republican and Democratic seats you are creating. You would also have a better understanding of where folks live so that you can create maps that include proportional representation. As commissioners, if you don't have this data readily available to you, demand it. How can you otherwise do your job when you have one hand tied behind your back? I hope you have all had the chance to read the Bridge Magazine article from earlier this week that explained how your current maps could give Republicans an even bigger advantage than when they drew the districts themselves. This is very troubling in terms of fair representation for a state that leans Democratic. How does that empower our voters? Commissioners, thank you for your service to our state, as others have said, and for taking part in something that's so critical. I know that your burden is heavy, but you have to get it right. Representative government in our state is at risk. Please move forward using partisan data in your process. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next in line is Veronica Adams.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for your hard work to all of you. And we need to correct this gerrymandered situation that has us the most gerrymandered state in the country, that has created a permanent majority despite how the voters vote. I have a concern that my understanding that there has been a lot of packing of the online comments, the written comments, encouraging you all to move the last criteria, number 7, of maintaining town and county lines up, which obviously is going to make your jobs a lot easier. But I think the harder route is what has to be done. The communities of interest is got to be a real sticking point and a challenge for you all, and I sympathize. But keep in mind that communities of interest are like town lines and county lines. There's an historical way that they were shaped, and it has to do with redlining and sundown towns where it was whites only after dark. That's just historical facts, and that's why you have certain communities. There's a homogeneity to them, but change has got to happen. And I live in Detroit. We're willing to break up our voting block just to make things fair all the way around. We don't want either party favored. I know that the Fair Maps Project was able to make that happen with their test map using your software. But anyway, thank you. Consider that about communities of interest. And thank you again for your work.
Thank you very much, Ms. Adams. Next in line is John Flynn.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is John Flynn. I've attended school at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor for the past 4 years and have lived in the Ann Arbor community for 20 years. I'm also participating in a college student redistricting fellowship with the Campus Vote Project, an organization that is empowering college students to have a voice in their state's redistricting process. Today, I'm asking you to keep the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor community together. The University of Michigan campus community is located near the center of Ann Arbor and at the north end of the city. University of Michigan Ann Arbor's campus is split into two partially connected areas. Central campus is located next to Ann Arbor's downtown, where the bulk of student housing is. On the other hand, North Campus is located north of the Huron River towards the northern edge of Ann Arbor. While our campus community is located in the same congressional and state senate districts, our North Campus community is split between State House Districts 53 and 55. Specifically, looking at State House District 55, a large portion of the residents between Fuller Road to the south, Beale Avenue to the east, Traveler Boulevard to the north, and Plymouth Road to the west are students. This community should be joined the rest of our campus community in State House District 53. This split is problematic because the students living there share more similarities to the urban core of Ann Arbor in State House District 53 versus the more suburban communities in State House District 55. In conclusion, the University of Michigan Ann Arbor campus community must be kept together during this redistricting process. In particular, the entire campus community should be drawn together in one State House district. I want to thank the commission for their hard work and hope you take my testimony into account. I hope that more college students get engaged with our state's redistricting process, and I'm looking forward to the final result of your hard work in fair districts throughout the state of Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Joan Long.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Joan Long. I'm a lifelong resident of Grand Rapids in Kent County, Michigan. My comments tonight are in regards to the congressional district centered around the Grand Rapids area. The required voting population of 775,000 people automatically dictates that a larger geographical area will be needed compared to the state Senate and House districts. Grand Rapids metro area is the center of activity in West Michigan. Grand Rapids is the second largest city. The voting population of 657,000 voters in Kent County, where Grand Rapids is located, is almost a district in itself. All of West Michigan is focused around the greater metro area of Grand Rapids. It is the busy center of commerce, urban, suburban, residential population, entertainment, healthcare, higher education, cultural venues, air and land transportation, as well as employment and shopping in this area. As the congressional district is currently drawn, the district expands out of Kent County and into the very rural area of Ionia, along with farming townships. To be consistent with the communities of interest of greater Grand Rapids, expansion to pick up the extra population that's required for a congressional district would need to go west into the similarly busy Ottawa Township and Allendale, Talmadge, as well as Georgetown and Jamestown at a minimum, and then Grand Valley University in the busy suburbs of Hudsonville and Jenison would be included in the greater metro area of Grand Rapids. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Philip Reed.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Right. My name is Philip Reed, and I live in the Clarkson area of North Oakland County. And I'm referring to map 187, congressional districts of 929 of this year. In regard to the district as proposed, North Oakland County, which consists mainly of bedroom or communities, have strong associations with Flint and Genesee County, has little in common with the northeastern part of the state. I believe Scola County, which has much more in common with the thumb area than North Oakland County has, and I would recommend you revise the CD maps with this in mind. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. James Gallant.
Yes, James Gallant, Marquette. These are my opinions. And I'd like to first agree with the former speaker there that you should be trying to make both parties unhappy. That could be the goal. And then we know that they're booing. And it's not all about the parties, and it's not about the partisanship. But also on your rules of procedure, it's I ask you to do some due diligence, and ask some experts for some opinion on this. You have what was that, Center for Civic Engagement here, you have Grossman, you have Iveco, you have all these people at your disposal, but you just won't do none of it. And, registered parliamentarian would be the way to go. In the state of Michigan, there's several. There's some good ones at the top. There's probably half a dozen. And get a little opinion. I think this is too close. It's too personal. Your attorney's not willing to call you out on your dirty deeds. It's just not happening. She's, I guess, worried about her paycheck more than the people of the state of Michigan. And because this is about us. This is our commission. It's not your commission. It's not, you don't get to just do what you want, do your polder model, changes every day, whoever's here. It's, that's not what this is supposed to be. And I guess you folks are just doubling down, and I guess I'll see you in court. Have a nice day.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next in line is Rexinaldo Nazarko.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for giving me the chance to speak. My name is Reginaldo Nazarko. I am here today to ask the commission to consider the maps submitted by MGage, which seek to keep the Muslim community together. Their plans ID are P3644, P4107, and P4108. So MGage is an organization that represents the broader Muslim community in the state, and they have drafted these maps very carefully to ensure the fair and proper representation. So I again encourage that the commission look at these maps when they are trying to draft a district that seek to keep the Muslim community together. I'm sure other people have spoken on the importance of this and the need for this and the many similar intersectional challenges that this Muslim community faces. But once again, please look at the maps submitted by MGage to ensure that fair representation for the Muslim community. And I'm going to repeat the ID plan one more time. It's P3644, P4107, and P4108. These are the densest areas in the state for the Muslim community, and these maps were carefully drawn out. For the last 30 seconds, as a resident of Troy, I'd also like to encourage the commission to keep Troy in similar districts with towns like Madison Heights and not its northern counterparts. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Kathy Cantor.
Reginaldo.
I think he hung up.
I'm all set.
Reginaldo, are you still there?
Yes.
Can you turn on your video for just one moment?
Sure.
Thank you. You cut out in the room during your last couple of sentences. Would you mind repeating that?
Would you remind me which part I cut out during? Was it when I was speaking about the city of Troy?
Yes, about the city of Troy.
Yeah, so I was just encouraging the commission to try and keep the city of Troy in an area with towns like Madison Heights and not its northern counterparts. So, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Cantor.
Hello, my name is Kathy Cantor, and I've been a West Bloomfield resident for nearly 40 years. I watched carefully as maps were submitted to the commission over the past year during the initial phase of information gathering, and I submitted testimony supporting the maps I felt were best for my community. I'm here to thank the commission for creating drafts of maps that reflect the shared interests of my township of West Bloomfield and surrounding areas. The proposed House District 25 brings West Bloomfield back together and joins us rightly with our surrounding communities with whom we share interests: Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Kego Harbor, and the part of Eastern Commerce. In 2011, West Bloomfield was divided in an egregious, partisan, and deliberately gerrymandering move into 2 House districts, 2 Senate districts, and 2 congressional districts. The maps you've proposed have reunited us and will now be in a position to elect legislators who will be responsive to the voting majority in our area. As a West Bloomfield resident, I strongly support your proposed redistricting maps for my community and urge you to keep these maps without revisions as your final maps. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Mary Sanford.
There, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
But you don't have my video. Okay, there we go. Hi, my name's Mary Stanford and I'm a resident of the east side of Lansing. I'm a self-employed clinical social worker in private practice and I care really deeply about the youth in my neighborhoods. Thank you for breaking Ingham County into multiple state House and Senate districts. We've been packed in the past, and the state Senate map particularly is a big improvement overall. I understand that the draft state House map still has Lansing and East Lansing too packed and creates too stark of a division between city and suburb. Part of East Lansing is in Clinton County, for example, so why separate them so starkly? That does have the appearance of partisan packing, unfortunately. I'd also like to ask for a tweak to the state Senate proposed map. My husband and I have lived on the east side of Lansing since 1974. And in past years, our neighborhood was involved in a dispute with the city over a park when the mayor cut down the trees of the park to build a road to the local golf course. This deprived our children of our neighborhood from outside play and actually any kind of group play, since they don't, most of them have the money to participate in sports clubs. I'm only sharing this to underline the fact that our neighborhood is used to being disenfranchised and ignored with serious consequences for our youth. The proposed map, your most recent proposed map, has cut out a tiny tiny East Side bit, which includes our neighborhood, and lumped it in with East Lansing and Williamston, Senate District 32. This cutout is too small to have any significant impact on unpacking the district, and District 30 more accurately reflects our community of interest. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Keenan Kabani.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hello, my name is Kenan Kabani. I'm a resident of Bloomfield Township. I just wanted to talk about two things. The first is the maps made by Mgage, which is a Muslim organization, which highlight where the Muslim communities are and really keep them together. I really encourage the commission to use these maps to keep the Muslim communities together. These Mgage maps are P3644, P4107, and P4108. This is important to keep these Muslim communities together. They've been consistently underrepresented, and they need that common representation. The second thing I wanted to speak about is, as a resident of Bloomfield, I want to echo what the resident from Lake Orion mentioned earlier regarding District 30. Bloomfield Township doesn't make sense to pair it up with Lake Orion. It should be put together with Pontiac or Birmingham. The Lake Orion pairing is just really odd, to be frank. So I'll just repeat the Mgage maps that I'm endorsing again. Their numbers P3644, P4107, and P4108. And yeah, thank you for your hard work, and I hope you have a nice day.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Aletha Smith.
For those waiting, Aletha is number 12. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Start video. Okay. Hi, everyone. I currently reside in Trenton, Michigan, which is one of our downriver cities, and I am a native of Detroit. I am here, and I am a part of the Detroit Downriver A. Philip Randolph Institute. We are a constituency group that is a national organization. It is the oldest constituency group within the AFL-CIO. We are nonpartisan. I'm here to voice my concerns about the division or the proposed or potential furthering of the division between the downriver communities and Detroit. As also an auto worker, I know firsthand what it is to commute from and work in a downriver city and vice versa, and live in Detroit, as well as live downriver and work in the city or the urban area of Detroit. The neighboring downriver cities of Detroit and the city itself should not have lines of division. I'm going to tell you why. The social economic status and the commonalities that we share in the places where we live, raise our families, and grow are essential to the outcome and the voice that we have through our elections. If we divide these communities, then it will be less than beneficial for the citizens that live there. So I ask you to try and make the best effort to not divide the downriver communities and the city of Detroit. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Shani Kai Saxon.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Take my camera off. Perfect. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Commission. My name is Shani Saxon, and I am a resident in East Lansing. I am a self-employed mental health clinician, and my work with youth and community is important to this discussion. I also work with One Love Global, a community organization in Lansing whose mission is to transform communities so that our children experience justice, opportunity, and abundant healing and wellness where they live. I am also a native of Lansing and have seen some of the redistricting changes over the years as they relate to the Lansing and Tri-County areas. I commend you for breaking Ingham County into multiple state and Senate districts as it has been packed in previous years. Drawing the existing maps around Lansing and preserving the Tri-County area at the congressional level while also splitting it apart at the Michigan Senate and House shows fair representation. In my opinion, the state map is a significant improvement. So I'm commenting today because voting districts serve as the foundation of our democracy, and ensuring fair maps now means that we pave the way for a decade of more accurate, equitable representation and political power. The draft state house map has East Lansing tightly packed, and it creates this increased division between city and suburb. For example, part of East Lansing is in Clinton County. I don't understand the extreme separation because we should be interdependent. And unfortunately, it looks like partisan packing. So today I'm asking for a reshifting of the borders to address this disparity. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Arlene Allen?
Participant is not currently present.
Okay, Anthony Scannell?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Anthony Scannell, lifelong Wayne County resident. I'd like to begin quoting the second president of the United States, who said in 1780 that, quote, "There's nothing which I dread so much as a division of this republic into two great parties, each arranged under its leader and concerting measures in opposition to each other. This, in my humble apprehension, is to be the most dreaded, greatest political evil under our Constitution." And so I would therefore like to say, not only to the commission, but to the public, that it's time to take D and R out of the driver's seat, which would require a change to Michigan law, which limits the state to designate two and only two political parties as major ones, with all the benefits and privileges and advantages that gives to Democrats and Republicans. So I'm pretty sure myself that it's time to kick the circus out of town by no longer voting for elephants and donkeys. And the strongest coalition is the non-voting one, because this process and our whole electoral structure favors two parties above all else, or independent. So therefore, onto the mapping. I'm strongly opposed to your congressional map, the one and only draft you've been working on, for what it does to the downriver areas of Allen Park, Melvindale, Lincoln Park, River Rouge, and Ecorse. Similarly to what the person from Trenton who just said, it just, I don't know. Well, to me, it just seems like an afterthought. You know, this is an undeniable community of interest, but part of it's grouped with part of Macomb County, part of it's grouped with part of Jackson County. It doesn't really make much sense to me. And then in terms of all the maps, I think, you know, like the one gentleman said, you could very well drop an AI map, artificial intelligence, or, you know, submit other ones, or even M-Gage's maps, whoever. I think you should throw them all into the mix for public consideration during the hearing process. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Ian Robinson?
That participant is not currently present.
Okay. Kathy Harris?
For the public watching, Kathy Harris is number 17. Please allow us a moment to unmute you.
Can you hear me? I'm here. Here I am. Good evening. My name is Kathy Harris, and I'm a lifelong resident of Grand Rapids. I'm the president of our Grand Rapids 8 Philip Randolph Institute, which is stated earlier, we're a senior labor constituency organization. I'm also the executive director of Proactive and a retiree of the UAW. Our mission for all our organizations is to work together towards a common goal and to make sure that our people in our community's voice is heard. I'm coming before you today, again, via Zoom, to express our support of keeping Kent County whole and to expand Kent County to the west to gain more population. Our primary goal is to form a new congressional district. And by keeping Kent County whole, it will keep our communities of interest together. Grand Rapids is in the center of most activities in West Michigan. And there are so many things that are necessary and important to our community, especially for the people of color, particularly the schools and the healthcare facilities. Expanding our district to the west, we will be growing our community and we'll be growing with the other communities that we have commonalities with other going in that direction more so than going in any other direction. Currently, our county is near the population for a single district by itself. So going west will add enough of the population to create a whole new district. Thank you for your time, and please consider combining our district to the west to increase our population so that we can have our whole district. Thank you. And thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Keenan Harris.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, my name's Keenan Harris. I'm from West Bloomfield, Michigan. And when I was looking at the current maps, I noticed there wasn't a real good Muslim, community and keeping the Muslim community together and good Muslim representation. And so I really like the maps made by Gauge, which are P3644, P4107, and P4108. I just believe that, we have such a large Muslim community here in Michigan with Dearborn and Dearborn Heights that we should keep these communities together. And I really believe that the maps made by Gauge really give the Muslim people good representation. So thank you. Again, those maps are P3644, P4107, and P4108. I believe those maps give the Muslim community great representation.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Lalit Sethi.
Numbers 19, 20, 21, and 22 are not currently present.
Thank you. We'll move on to number 23, Depita.
Hello, my name is Deepita. I was raised in Town, which is right inside of Hamtramck and a little outside Detroit. I want to leave a comment on the current congressional district. So I do live in Detroit, and I noticed that the new map that was created did keep the communities of interest together. So I do appreciate that you all have kept the constituents of Town together. However, I did notice that it expands a little into the Macomb County. So I think it'll be best to not go past the 8 mile, allowing both Hamtramck and Detroit residents to stay within its own lines and district. So again, thank you for your time, and I hope that you do take this into consideration.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Lainey Friedrichs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Lainey Friedrich, and I'm a resident of Royal Oak. I've lived in.
Lainey, we cannot hear you. We still cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Lainey, I'm going to turn off your video and we'll move on to the next participant, and I will message you in the chat to try to resolve your technical issues.
All right, we will move on to Alyssa Diebold.
Good evening, MICRC members. My name is Alyssa Diebold. I live in East Point, a community at the southern edge of Macomb County. I grew up in the Upper Peninsula, and when I describe where I live now, I always say that we are a tiny city sandwiched between Warren, Roseville, and St. Clair Shores. And somehow even folks 500 miles away recognize one of those Macomb communities. I'm here to share how important I think communities of interest are. In addition to so much water and sewer infrastructure, city services such as recreation and senior center and the Chamber of Commerce and the Suburban Library Cooperative, the people here really work together. I am chair of a city commission in East Point, and we regularly reach out to our neighboring communities to possibly partner on programs and really sometimes just steal ideas too, to be honest. East Point works incredibly close with Roseville, and I really kind of feel like Warren is our big brother to the west. But even reaching into Oakland County, Hazel Park and East Point have a public safety authority partnering them together through a millage. As small communities, we have similar needs, and I think it's incredibly important that those elected to represent us for Congress, for Senate, and for House Rep are not divided among several districts, but united under one. Thank you for the time tonight, and good luck to all of you on the rest of this exciting journey. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Did we get Lainey sorted out, or?
Yes, I believe she now has audio.
Okay.
Lainey, can you hear us? Let's try one more time. Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Looks like we're still having audio issues. We'll move on to the next participant and we'll continue troubleshooting.
Lisa Pierce.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. My name is Lisa Pierce, and I'm a resident of Birmingham. And I want to thank everyone on the commission for your dedication to making our voting districts fair and reflective of our current communities and the issues and concerns that we share. But I am concerned right now about how the proposed map divides Oakland County and denies us fair representation in Lansing and in Washington. It currently does not make sense. We have no fully contiguous congressional seat and only one fully contiguous state Senate seat to advocate on our behalf. And this risks leaving Oakland County, which is the second largest county in Michigan, without the representation that reflects our economic and our community interests. It also risks leaving minority communities without adequate and fair representation and political impact. Times have changed. Oakland County has changed. The map must reflect this. We must leave the days of gerrymandering in the dust and create maps that ensure no party disproportionately benefits over the other. That's why I canvassed for voters, not politicians. And that is why I support the work of this commission. I appreciate all you're doing, and thank you very much for your time and your commitment.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Tanya Ludberg.
I think we actually have Lainey's audio working now. Lainey, can you?
Okay, let's try Lainey again.
No, I'm so sorry. We still cannot hear you. You want to check your phone and make sure that your phone settings are not muted.
Okay.
There we go. Very good. Okay.
I'm sorry. I hope this is worth it, Chair. Commission. Thank you all. My name is Lainey Friedrich, and I'm a resident of Royal Oak. I've lived in Oakland County for 25 years and Macomb County for 25 years before that. In order to get Proposal 2 on the ballot, I spoke with literally thousands of voters across the state, gathering so many petition signatures that I was in the top 5% statewide. I also spent months canvassing in the rain and the cold and the snow in Macomb and Oakland counties because those communities are so important to me. The concern of voters, which I heard over and over, and what they supported with their signatures and their yes vote, is for our mix of elected officials to represent the mix of the voters of the state, which is about even, not unfairly skewed. Their voices were quieter, more thoughtful than the loud noises that have been hurled at you by a tiny fraction of voters. They were, however, emphatic that they didn't put this commission in place to simply reduce the distortion. They put it into place to come as close as you can to eliminating it. You have the technology and resources available to you to ensure that. Your work is vitally important, and I thank you for your commitment to it. I'm here asking you to honor the outcome desired by the more than 2.5 million voters who passed Proposal 2, which is to be governed by a mix of ideologies that are weighed pretty evenly, like the way our state votes. I'd also like to ask that the commission add a second hearing to the great city of Detroit, given the significant population of Metro Detroit, including Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties. Thank you for honoring their voice and their voices.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Are we on Tanya? I just want to make sure. Okay, Tanya Ludberg.
Correct.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to speak with you and for your service on the commission. My name is Tanya Lundberg, and I live in Northville Township, Michigan, Wayne County. I want to echo many of the people who have spoken tonight. I've been listening since 5 o'clock, and I've been sitting here thinking, how can my voice make an impact? But I think the most that I can do is to be emphatic in the point that I would like to make, and that is that it is extremely important for the commission to have partisan data in front of them as they are drawing the maps. It doesn't make any sense to wait until after the maps have been drawn to look at partisan data, when, as many of the people who have spoken before me have pointed out, the voters in Michigan spoke a couple of years ago and said that we want fair maps. We want them drawn to be competitive, to not give an advantage to one or the other party. And this is what we want from the commission. I know that your job is very difficult. It is not possible for you to make everyone happy, but if at the end of the day, you've done your best to draw fair, competitive maps, then we will have to live with the result and be happy with the work that you've done. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Thank you for your work, and good luck as you wrap up this process.
Thank you for addressing the commission. 28, Carla Wagner.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Carla Wagner, and I'm a resident of Cannon Township near Rockford and north of Grand Rapids. I'm a realtor, and I have bought and sold properties all over the state of Michigan, and especially in Kent County. I appreciate the work this commission is doing for the people of the state of Michigan, but I am very concerned as no one that is serving on this commission is from the West Michigan region. Out of all of the public comments being submitted in the portal and at these meetings, please take additional time to review the comments specifically made from individuals who reside in West Michigan to help you with your mapping process. The congressional district drawn yesterday that includes the cities of Grand Rapids with Kalamazoo proved this point. These two cities share very little in common and should be the anchor for two separate congressional districts. The suburban areas of each city are excluded from the map and are drawn into neighboring rural districts. Instead, please consider drawing Kent County as one congressional district with the neighboring counties of Ionia, Berry, Montcalm, and Allegan, which are very rural, as that would be a far better representation of a community of interest. Additionally, I ask the commissioners to revisit the state Senate districts drawn for Kent County and ensure that the Rockford area stays whole within a district that is separate from Grand Rapids. The city of Grand Rapids is large enough to be within one state Senate district, and the commission should not be breaking municipal lines unless the municipality is so large to be within its own district. Please consider drawing the cities of Grand Rapids, East Grand Rapids, and Kentwood together to form an urban state Senate district that will allow for a diverse candidate to serve in the state Senate. Thank you for all of the work that you're doing, and thank you for your consideration.
For addressing the commission, Ghana Goodwin Dye.
The participant is not currently present.
Thank you. Number 31, Elizabeth Johnson.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I don't know how to, oh, they're starting my video. Okay. Hi. My name is Elizabeth Johnson, and I am a resident of Algoma Township. Algoma Township is a rural community, and it shares a community of interest with the Rockford area. The Rockford area community of interest also includes townships of Cannon, Plainfield, and Cortland. Many of the individuals in these municipalities live, work, and share in the same school districts. I can attest to this as I sit on the board of one of those townships as a trustee. Currently, the state Senate maps drawn for Kent County divide Rockford areas into two Senate districts. I implore the commission to keep the city of Grand Rapids whole within one state Senate district with the neighboring urban communities of East Grand Rapids and Kentwood, which would allow for the more rural district that includes all of the Rockford area. Additionally, I asked the commission to reject the draft map drawn yesterday that includes the cities of Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo. These two cities have little in common and should be with their suburbs within their own respective congressional district. For Grand Rapids, please keep Kent County whole with one congressional district. I also would like to mention that I've heard a lot of public comments about using partisan data in your analysis, but that's actually talking on the both sides of the mouth, as we want fairness. The fact that they're bringing partisan politics into their analysis shows that they are not seeking what is fair. I ask that partisan politics remain out of it. Let's have a fair map, and that would not include any of the partisan politics. And that's just how the cake is baked. And I would ask the same thing. I would reiterate that if both parties are not happy, you know that it is fair. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Carl Baxter.
Madam Chair. Number 16, Ian Robinson has now joined.
I'm sorry, Ian Robinson. We were going back, I forgot.
Thank you, commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Apologies for missing you earlier. My power went off just a couple of minutes before my number 17 was scheduled. So good evening. My name is Ian Robinson. I'm a resident of Ann Arbor and the president of the Huron Valley Area Labor Federation. We represent about 17,000 union members living and working in Washtenaw, Livingston, Jackson, and Hillsdale counties. I and other union members drove to Jackson to address you near the start of your public hearings process. I'm back tonight because our initial testimony didn't seem to have much impact on the maps in our area. Your current state Senate map packs all of Ann Arbor into one seat. I suspect you did that because you think Ann Arborites share a community of interest, and indeed we do. But what are the relevant common interests? Most Ann Arborites, like our local labor movement, want a state government that's committed to promoting race and class justice in our state. We also believe in an electoral system that lives up to the principle of partisan fairness. In November 2018, 77% of Ann Arbor voters voted yes on Prop 2 to end gerrymandering in Michigan. Right now, our maps remain highly gerrymandered, or at least they reproduce the effects of gerrymandering. On this understanding of our common interest, the best thing you can do for Ann Arbor is to stop packing all of our votes into one Senate district. You can do that by splitting our city to create a Senate seat representing the west side of Ann Arbor, the city of Jackson and the territory in between, and a Senate seat representing the east side of Ann Arbor, the city of Ypsilanti and Ypsi Township. We don't want special favors. We just want our votes to have the same weight as those cast by more conservative citizens in other parts of our state. Vote packing gives their votes more weight than ours in the legislature, and that's wrong. Partisan fairness requires the party seat distribution in each chamber of the state legislature to mirror the statewide vote for each party in the corresponding chamber.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Carl Baxter.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Oh, this isn't Carl, but do you want me to go?
Who is this, if this is not Carl?
This is Trenton Berry and number 33. Apologies, we went a bit out of order.
Okay, so yes, Trenton, please go. And we'll come back to Carl if he's on.
Okay. Hello, commissioners. My name is Trenton Berry, and I'm from Midland, Michigan. As many of you have heard, the people of Midland are very split on where Midland should end up in a congressional district. I am here to say that Midland should be with Bay City, Saginaw, and Flint. Many want to keep Midland County whole, so here's my option to keep it whole with being part of the Tri-Cities and Flint. Commissioner Weiss is from the Saginaw area, so I'd like to encourage him and other commissioners in which we keep Midland County whole and put Chapin, Marion, Lakefield, Jonesfield, Brady, and Brant townships from Saginaw in with the Central Michigan District. This would mean that District 11, in which you guys have numbered, would only include all of Bay, Midland, and Genesee counties, as well as most of Saginaw County. There are many combinations in which we could keep Midland County whole, but I believe that Midland should be with Saginaw, Bay, and Genesee counties. I'd like to add that with many comments about the flood that happened in Midland last year, districts that should take that incident into consideration should be our state legislature districts, not the U.S. congressional districts. Lastly, I would like to say that I like your state House and state Senate districts for Midland and Midland County. Thank you for your time, commissioners.
Thank you for addressing the commission. This time we will try for Carl Baxter.
Okay, good evening, Commission, and thank you very much for convening this and listening to our public comments. I am Carl Baxter. I'm a precinct delegate. I am a resident of Detroit, and I'm also a member of the Detroit Downriver A. Philip Randolph Institute, a non-Protestant group. My comment today is in regards to keeping Detroit and our brothers and sisters that are in the communities that are adjacent to Detroit downriver, such as River Roots, Ecorse, Allen Park, Melvindale, and Lincoln Park. And the reason why is because we have a lot of similarities and commonalities, okay, such as our education system and the needs of that education system, the economic households and that are in those communities, and the fact that a lot of the residents in both of the city of Detroit and those communities actually travel back and forth amongst each other as we work and do things such as shopping and go about our days. So in relationship to how the congressional maps in particular are drawn, we feel that, and I personally feel that it's important that as you look at that congressional map, and that those communities stay in line with Detroit so that they can continue to be served by groups such as ours of Detroit Downriver, A. Philip Randolph, and our partners that are in that area. So I do thank you for your work. I do thank you for the opportunity for allowing me and others to address this commission, and Godspeed.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Oh, I lost my list. RJ? RJ Regan?
For the public watching, RJ is number 34. Please allow us a moment to unmute you.
Okay.
Christina.
All right.
We can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, thank you, Commissioner, for all the work that you're doing. My name is RJ Regan, and I'm a 3rd Congressional District State Committee man and resident of Grand Rapids Township. And I would just like to voice my opposition to the draft map, which includes the city of Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo into the same congressional district. As a resident of Grand Rapids Township, I would consider myself and individuals in the surrounding Metro 6 region of Grand Rapids residents of the Grand Rapids region. We should not be divided into two, with a majority of the Grand Rapids suburbs being tied with a congressional district that stretches all the way to Midland. Please consider keeping Kent County whole with one congressional district. You can use surrounding counties like Ionia and Barry that have similar characteristics of Kent County to supplement Kent County to create a large enough district. Additionally, I would ask that the commission to keep the city of Grand Rapids whole within one state Senate district. Currently, the city is split at Fulton Street, with the northern half being tied to a rural part of Kent County and Ottawa County. The state Senate district should be an urban one that unites the city of Grand Rapids and combines other urban areas such as East Grand Rapids and Kentwood. Thank you for your time and dedication to the people of the state of Michigan. Have a great evening.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Christina Van?
Hi, so thank you for allowing me to give public comment. My name is Christina Van. I'm a resident of the city of Rockford. I'm also a student at Grand Valley State University. I would like to express my opposition to the draft map drawn yesterday that includes the city of Grand Rapids and the city of Kalamazoo into one congressional district. These two municipalities share little of the same characteristics and form entirely different communities of interest. Instead, I would ask that the commission keep Grand Rapids Metro 6 region all within its own congressional district and not exclude suburban areas of Grand Rapids such as Rockford, Ada, Cascade, and Lowell with a completely different district that is drawn all the way to Midland. Additionally, I would ask the commission to consider revising its state Senate district map for Kent County to keep Grand Rapids within one district, not split up, because that dilutes the city's representation in the state Senate. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Our last in-person for first round is Thomas Nemchuk.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. All right, as mentioned, good evening, commissioners. My name is Tom Nemchuk, and I am a resident of Cascade Township in Kent County, Michigan. I have been following the Redistricting Commission meetings online as often as I can, and perhaps I missed it, but I've yet to see a single submission from the citizens of Michigan used for reference when drawing a map. As someone who spent several weeks learning the Districtor software and then drawing several map proposals that I submitted to the commission, this has been very disappointing to me.
Thomas, a little difficult to hear you. Are you able, it sounds like you might be too close to your microphone.
Too close or too far? Is that better?
Probably a bit too close.
Okay. How is that?
It's a little better, thank you.
Okay. I am opposed to the current draft map that puts the cities of Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids into one United States congressional district. This map excludes much of the suburban area of Grand Rapids with a rural district that stretches all the way to Midland, which is 2 hours away. Suburban voters of Grand Rapids should stick with Grand Rapids for its own congressional district. I asked the commission to keep Kent County whole within one congressional district. When you ask someone from Kent County where they are from, they say Grand Rapids, not Midland, 2 hours away. Additionally, I'm opposed to the state Senate district drawn by Cascade Township to southwest Michigan. Southern Kent County shares very little in common with the counties along the state's lakeshore. I would implore the commission to draw Cascade Township and Southern Kent County with the neighboring county of Allegan for a state Senate district, as this is a far better representation of my community of interest. Many of the individuals that live in Kent's southern townships have their kids attend school districts and work in the northern Allegan communities of Door and Wayland, and vice versa. We identify with Allegan, not with Southwest Michigan. Thank you for your time and consideration tonight.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Now that the first opportunity for both in-person and remote public comment has concluded, without objection, we will now hear from individuals seeking to provide a second 2-minute public comment. Hearing no objection, we will now proceed with individuals seeking to provide a second 2-minute public comment. Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide live remote public commentary to the commission will now be allowed to do so. We will use the same process as the first round. First in line to provide public comment is Mr. James Gallant. You have 2 minutes to address the commission.
Thank you. James Gallant, Marquette, Michigan. These are my opinions. First of all, I'd like to give a big shout out and thank you to the map makers. They're doing awesome, keeping track and dancing as fast as you can, I guess, and all the chaos that's going on here, and I do appreciate that. And also thank you to the commission for posting the transcripts. You know, they're 2 weeks behind now. That's just a list of the words that are showing on the screen right now, so that shouldn't be any problem really to keep those up to date. But I do appreciate that. And I'd like to speak to your proposed motion to discuss. That's a straw polling. This is what you do the whole time. You want to discuss it so you can straw poll each other, and then you can turn around, oh yeah, now we agree and got consensus, and now we're going to make a motion. You do it all the time, you know, as much as you possibly can. So, but page 407 of Robert's Rules of Order, your Parliamentary Authority Manual, under straw polling, line 11, says straw poll is not in order. A motion to take an informal straw poll to test the waters is not in order because it neither adopts nor rejects a measure, and hence is meaningless and dilatory. If the Assembly wishes to discuss and take a vote on a matter without the vote constituting final action of the Assembly, it may instead vote to go into Committee of the Whole or quasi-Committee of the Whole. Under these procedures, the Assembly considers the matter as it would a committee, and its vote while in a Committee of the Whole or quasi-Committee of the Whole serves only as a recommendation to the Assembly, which the Assembly is free to reject as it would in the regard of a report of any ordinary committee. And this is the rules. This is what you're supposed to be doing the whole time. I think you folks are all got your mind set on this, making new rules and reset and rebooting the system. You're not supposed to be doing that. That's unconstitutional. That's not part of your charge here. You were supposed to pick up those rules from the Commission on Legislative Apportionment, and they were supposed to be handed to you by Mike Brady. Mike Brady is the one at fault here.
Thank you for addressing the commission, Mr. Gallant. Anthony Scannell.
Hello. I wanted to start video. That's cool. All right. Good evening, Commissioners. Anthony Scannell, Wayne County. I don't think it was a very good idea to reduce the number of public hearings that there were, but I mean, I guess I see if it was a balance between making good maps in your view and doing that, then I guess it had to be done. But it was also kind of weird too, the way the motion was made. It had so many adjustments in one foul swoop. It was like, decisions to switch certain meetings, public hearings, to adjust the schedule before, during, and after of what you're going to do, and to cancel certain hearings. All of those were made in one motion and vote. I don't know. It seemed, oh, it seemed like a not healthy way to run it. But that's just my opinion. And then during that discussion, actually, Commissioner Rothorn, you said we're slow or something to that effect, and it's kind of right. The maps have been kind of slow, so much so that I think there's only been one congressional draft other than what Commissioner Eid has proposed, and that's why I think you should incorporate other ones that other people submit, even yourselves, and put those all out there for the public hearing consideration officially. To give people more options to consider. And I'm not in favor of your congressional map. The way it just groups like downriver, part of it with Wayne County, part of it with Jackson County, seems pretty weird to me. All right, thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. That concludes our public comment for this evening. However, I would like to mention that all emailed and mailed public comment is provided to the commission before each meeting, and the commissioners also review the public comment portal on our www.michigan.gov/MICRC website on a regular basis. We appreciate everyone who provides public comment in whatever method they choose to do so, and invite you to keep sharing your thoughts, communities of interest, and maps. So without objection, I'm assuming everybody would like a 10-minute break. We've been going for 2 hours. So we will stand in recess until 7:10 p.m. Oh, General Counsel, did you have something before?
Not if the commission is recessing, I can.
Okay, we're going to take a brief recess then. Everybody come back at 7:10. Thank you. As chair of the commission, I recall the meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission back to order at 7:17 PM. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Absolutely. Commissioners, please say present when I call your name. If you're attending today's meeting remotely, please announce during roll call that you're attending remotely and disclose your physical location. I'll start with Doug Clark.
Present.
Juanita Curry. Anthony Eid. Brittany Kellum.
Present, attending remotely from Wayne County, Michigan. Also, we can only see the accessibility screen. I don't know if that's just me. But okay, now I can see into
Thank
the
you.
room.
Rhonda Lang.
Present, attending remotely from Reed City, Michigan.
Steve Lett.
Present.
Cynthia Orton.
Present.
MC Rothorn.
Present.
Rebecca Satella.
Present.
Janice Follett.
Present here.
Aaron Wagner.
Present, attending remotely from Charlotte, Michigan.
Richard Weiss.
Present.
Dustin Witches.
Present.
12 commissioners are present and there is a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Reinhardt. All right, we're going to move on to unfinished business agenda item 5A without objection to continue draft mapping adjustments. But I think before we're going to do that, our general counsel did have a comment for us or something for us. So general counsel.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. I know the commission has lots of work to get to. I did want to do, for the benefit of the listening public as well as the commission, a brief compare and contrast. Again, on the issue of partisan data, partisan fairness, and that. The compare and contrast would be between proportionality, which Ohio and Missouri have, and that is that the statewide proportion of districts whose voters, based on statewide elections during the last 10 years, favor political parties that correspond closely to the statewide preferences of the voters. So that's proportionality, that the seats have to be proportional to the election results of the past. Contrasting it also with competitiveness, which is another theme that the public is urging the MICRC to follow. Competitiveness is when districts have relatively even partisan balance, making competition more likely than not to happen. Competitiveness is also achieved by looking at election data during the drafting process. There are 5 states that have competitiveness in their redistricting criteria: Arizona, Missouri has it for legislative only, Colorado, New York, and Washington State. So in Arizona, their competitiveness, they just selected at the beginning of August, the metrics that they're using to determine competitiveness. One uses the results from statewide races over the past 3 election cycles to determine how close the average vote is a proposed district would have been, and the other uses those measurements to determine how often the proposed districts would have changed hand between Democrats and Republicans. This is what the commission is being advocated to use. This is not what is in the Michigan Constitution. The language in the Michigan Constitution, and again, the courts have held that using election results to determine partisan fairness is improper. It is not acceptable. What the Michigan Constitution has is a partisan fairness requirement. And not only does it have the language, districts shall not provide a disproportionate advantage to a political party, it specifies that it's supposed to be measured using accepted measures of partisan fairness. These have specific legal meanings. These are specific tools and metrics that have been approved by the courts used to determine that on statewide plans. So again, what is going to happen tomorrow is the commission's expert, Dr. Lisa Handley, will come and present the partisan fairness measures that she has run on the statewide maps that the commission has been working on, obtain the results, and then the commission will be advised on how, if there is a disproportionate advantage, how that can be remedied or mitigated or reduced. And so that is the plan. But I did, again, really for the benefit of the public, to highlight that the Michigan Constitution does not allow for competitiveness, proportionality, and that the MICRC has adhered to the language in the Michigan Constitution in its work and will continue to do so to bring the written word of Proposal 18-2 to life as it was adopted by the voters. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that explanation. Are there any questions or comments for our general counsel? All right, so at this point, we're going to return to our mapping. I believe, let me see, where's my chart? I thought Commissioner Lang was next. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, Commissioner Kellum just finished, so Commissioner Lang would be next. Is Commissioner Lang on?
I'm here.
Okay.
And since we're working in the Detroit area and I am not familiar and we're going down to the block levels, if the commission would humor me, I would like to give my turn to Chair Zatella since she already has something prepared so we can look at what she has prepared.
I think you're getting not a bad idea here.
Okay, then Chair Zatella, would you please take my turn?
Sure. Is everybody okay with that? I'm not sure if I can show what I worked on though. That's the thing. That's why I'm thinking we should just do it tomorrow.
Sir.
Is this the alternate House draft?
Yes.
They submitted. That draft is now posted, so you're free to proceed with displaying it.
Yes. Yes, you are. So good.
Does our mapper have it?
I posted one thing that I was given today that was told to post, but I'm not sure the other one was posted.
Yeah, the congressional
Yes.
posted, but I'm not sure that the House.
No, I wasn't instructed
posted.
to post that.
The House draft has posted on the mapping data section of the MICRC website. So the file is available for download.
I didn't post it, so someone
Okay,
else must have.
so I'm confused. Do you have it or do you not have it?
I
I'm not
am
sure.
also confused.
Do you want me to send it to you again?
I mean, I can take a moment and download if it's there. I haven't seen it there yet.
I actually emailed it earlier today, so you probably already have it in your email box.
Yeah, I do have that.
No, there were two. There was one congressional and one House. Beep, beep.
Okay, so again, give me a moment to get that from the email.
Okay.
My understanding, it was posted to the Secretary of State's portal, but it's not on the my districting page.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't see it out there,
Yeah, because
so
it's not there. It's
I
on
just
the-
sent it to you again, so it's right at the top of your
Okay,
email.
give me a moment.
We don't have anything else. Yeah, so it's, the next 20 minutes. All right, so I am prefacing this map by saying, I know it looks a little funky, but the goal is to reduce the numbers of the voters to the range that Dr. Hanley is looking for us to do. And so this is just one, I just did this really fast on the fly during the lunch break. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so two questions on this. Just as we had before, where I could bring up the plan you're working on and bring yours as an overlay, or I can just upload your plan straight into the program.
I would upload it because I am particularly interested in Mr. Adelson's
Got it.
view on the numbers, because the whole point was to fix the numbers, and I think we can adjust lines where needed. But I really want to know what his thoughts are from a VRA perspective with the numbers, because I've got some pretty big reductions in concentration within over a broad variety of districts. And I'm hoping they're more in line with what he's thinking. And that if he is, and he's happy with it, perhaps we can continue to tweak those lines to make them less dividing communities of interest. It is certainly not a perfect map. I don't want people freaking out about it online. What'd you say?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
in addition to Mr. Adelson's evaluation of the breakdown for populations that you've been able to reduce, I think it would also be good to look at the breakdown of the Dearborn districts because
I
they
agree.
did change.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, I have the plan uploaded. Can you confirm that this is what you think is the correct plan?
Yes, that appears to be the correct plan.
Okay.
All right. And so, like I said, that some of these districts are crazy. They're long, they're narrow and skinny, particularly 16 and 21. But if you look at the percentages for District 1, District 1 wasn't the big issue. District 2, it was originally 60%, 60.73% voting age population African-American. It's now down to 46. 3 was 28 and I brought it up to 40, so it's a little more balanced. 6 was 64%, it's now down to 48%. 8 was 52%, it's now down to 35%. 14 was at 59%, it's now down to 49%. 15 was at 49%, it's now down to 42%. And then 18, which was one of our big problem districts, was at 76%, and it's now down to 38%. So I have on that list, 3 districts that are above 50, a 53.24, which is 4, 51.9, 50.89, but everything else is below 50%. So, like I said, it's just a thought. I mean, I think we can accomplish what Mr. Adelson is suggesting we do. It's just going to require a little creativity. And like I said, I certainly don't think this is like a final map. We could definitely move some of these lines, make things a little fatter and a little skinnier to make them not look so long and skinny. But the point is, it's, I think, a little closer to a VRA compliant plan than what we had.
Madam Chair, I mean, if I could just respond briefly, I agree. I think you just look, the numbers often tell the story. So the numbers and the analysis really reveal what you've been doing, which is all moving in the direction that you said. I mean, you've made some pretty significant compliance alterations, and to your credit, I think there's no question. Just looking at the numbers, you can see what the changes are, and I agree. I think that there will be opportunities to make additional changes, as you suggested.
And then I do want to look particularly at 3 and I think it's 7 for the Arab American, and it looks like I have some discontinuities in there as well. So 3, 7, and 15, because those were sort of our Arab American communities of interest. And they were pretty good in the last map, but I would like to see like what the voting breakdown on those are, if that's still an opportunity to elect district for Arab Americans. Because I did make some changes there, but I was focusing on VRA because that's number 1. But Arab American is also, I believe, a VRA issue. Commissioner Clark.
Yeah, when you put this configuration together, the approach you take was to extend the spokes north and west?
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah, and I had to actually create a couple new districts. So District 5 and District 9, if you notice, those aren't what we had before. So I changed the way 9 was going and then added in that new District 5. And I thought there was one other one I added too.
So you didn't create new districts, you reconfigured.
I reconfigured, and in the process of reconfiguring, created a new district to fill up the space that I was left over from the reconfiguration.
Yeah, because we only have 110 districts.
Yeah.
So we're using that, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, ideally, I would like to get 21 and 16 looking a little bit more like 10, 11, and 12 in terms of their thickness, if we could. But the reality is it's just really hard in that northwest region of Detroit. It's just highly concentrated. And, you know, you've got Southfield on top as a buffer and also Oak Park. And so it requires stretching farther to, you know, and this also, again, achieves that goal of what I was trying for with Livonia. We received a lot of public comment about Livonia being split into 5. In this plan, it's 3. Redford versus being split into 3 is now 2. Which is still a split, but it's better than 3. So, you know, I think the takeaway is just we can accomplish this. It's just going to take some creativity and some willingness to cross that 8-mile border and, you know, cross the telegraph border to come up with something a little better. Commissioner Rothorn.
I think we wanted to look at the election results for the Arab American community.
Yes, I would love to.
And then after we do that, I just want to acknowledge, I think what we're trying to figure out is how to do this, right? I think, right, because we're moving, it sounds like we're in a compliance phase. I think all of us are trying to understand how we do this, but we're familiar with our mapping phase. And so because of what Commissioner Zatella is trying out here on Commissioner Lang's turn, right? I think it's important to try to help us understand. It feels like mapping still, but it's different. And that's what I'm trying, help us understand what we're doing differently.
Well, think of it in a way, Commissioner Rothorn, it's mapping with an edge. The edge is compliance. Now, we've been talking about compliance for a while, but this is like the final substantial compliance check. It's almost like if you're in court and you go in a trial, you check your oral argument before you go into the courtroom to make sure everything is good. So in a way, this is the same thing. You're doing that final substantial check, doing the check mark so you can move on to additional consideration. So you're mapping in the sense, you're obviously, making alterations. But think of it as mapping with an edge, with the edge being compliance, the edge meaning that there's an even tighter focus, more specific focus, because we're working with something now. You have the districts and you've been experimenting and trying various ways. So you're much more familiar with the area. You're much more familiar with what's possible. And then what is that issue that overhangs what you're doing? It's compliance to the degree that we need it to be.
Thank you for that. And I apologize because I do want us to get to the mapping, the election results that were requested.
Commissioner Orton?
You may have said this, Commissioner Zatella, but when you were creating this, did you start with the one we already had and change it? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I started with the one we already had and sort of focused in on the areas where we had the biggest issues, which was 6 and 4, and then that 18. And so as a result of trying to fix that, and then I think 17 was also pretty bad too. I started moving the existing lines. So these are all tweaks of our existing lines, except for that number 5 was a new that I filled in. And so these are tweaks of existing lines and just moving things around to balance things out, looking at the population, looking who lives where, and trying to balance things in a more equitable manner to reach that compliance goal that we have. Commissioner Kellum.
I just wanted to quickly say that at first glance, this looks really good to me, particularly districts, the little strips you have, 18, 8, 10, 12. I like what you did in that area with the consideration of 9 and 5 as well. And I echo that 21 would be hard because of that concentration. So just lifting you up that you did at first glance, it looks like you did the best that you could do with that area, especially being familiar with Detroit and Metro Detroit.
Thank you, Commissioner Kellum. So John, do you have the election results that we can look at?
Okay, so start with District 3.
Yes.
Okay. So it's 89% for
Yep.
Biden.
And we're specifically interested in that primary, that
Okay.
gubernatorial primary with Thanadar,
Sure.
El Sayed, and Whitmer.
Okay, District 3, El Sayed 50, Thanadar 26, and Whitmer 23.
Okay. And then what about 7?
Mm-hmm. 50, 11, and 38. 50 for El Sayed, 11 for Thanadar, and 38 for Whitmer.
Yeah. So I think it preserves that voting community.
I agree, Madam Chair, and then just so to make sure I understand, 3 and 7 are the districts that have the larger Arab American population.
Yes.
Or
And a little bit of 15 now. So we should probably look at 15 too, because there is
Oh,
part
was
of
that
Dearborn, 50, a
Dearborn
little bit of
Heights?
15. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great idea.
District 15 as drawn as El Sayed 40, Thanadar 25, and Whitmer 35.
So
So clearly the candidate of choice, El Sayed, as we've inferred, of the Arab American community wins in all three. The margins vary a little bit, but as we talked about, the margins don't have to be 5 points, 8 points, 9 points. In the first two districts we looked at, the margins were pretty substantial.
Yeah.
And that includes, that's winning the district over the eventual Democratic nominee, the future Governor Whitmer. So they all do elect the candidate of choice that we've inferred of the Arab American community.
All right. Any comments from anyone else? Commissioner Eid?
Well done.
Thank you. Commissioner Clark and then Commissioner Orton.
Yeah, I'd like to get a copy of the map and the stats so I can go through the active matrix this evening when I get home.
So would you like me to publish this as part of the normal proceedings for the day's maps?
Yeah, I mean, there's some, can we clean up that discontinuity in 21 right now?
Sure.
Yeah, let's clean that up and then we can put it out there. I mean, it's obviously not a complete map because I was just really trying to focus on the Detroit area, so. But I definitely want other people's feedback on it because like I said, I'm just trying to propose a solution to the problem we're facing.
Yeah, I just need a little time to get the feedback.
Oh, there's room for improvement, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
And did I hear you correctly that you did adjust 4 and 6, the gross point area?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the discontinuity here is probably the
water, I'm
Yep.
guessing, yeah.
So let me try to fix that.
And then Commissioner Orton, did you have a comment?
I was just going to suggest that we clean it up a little bit.
I think I need a passport to take this block here.
Commissioner Lang, did you have any comments? Says it's technically your turn.
First, thank you for taking the turn for me. Like I said, I want what's best for the Detroit area also. And I feel like the commissioners from the Detroit area, now that we have to tweak the maps down so much to the block level, are definitely a key part of the mapping right now. And I'm going to put my trust in the commissioners from that area because I think you guys will know best.
I'll just echo that, Commissioner Lang. Thank you.
Yeah, so I would say let's get this cleaned up and we can post it and then everybody can look at it. I'm sure we're going to get lots of feedback about it. But again, the point is compliance. This isn't because I love this or think it's the greatest thing in the world. It's that I'm trying to reach that compliance goal. Commissioner Clark?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I see with it is that we took these spokes and went so far north and so far west. I think that may be one of the big comments, but it's a trade-off. I mean, we have to get compliant. So we have to do something, and we made the decision to go the route with the spokes. which I think was a reasonable thing to do at the time. So it's all about trade-offs at this point. So I
Trade-offs and meeting our constitutional obligations.
correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Because that's our number one priority.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
It still just wants to keep you in the water, doesn't it, John?
Yep. And also, just double checking that you intended to split Grosse Pointe Shores this way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's the only way to get the balance. Commissioner Ede?
So going from here, what do y'all think? Because we do have this analysis tomorrow, and it would be nice to have an analysis for Dr. Hanley's partisan analysis is what I'm speaking of. It would be nice to have one on this, but we can only do that if it's a completed map. So do we want to like maybe merge this with the other one that we completed and have a look at that tomorrow, or what are y'all thinking to go from here?
Tella,
Yes.
is it possible where we could kind of have the two so they're evaluated, the one that like that Commissioner Kellum was working on earlier, and then do a copy of that and put your overlay on so they can both be evaluated? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think so. But I honestly, like, I don't know that these changes are going to make a big change in partisan fairness, because this area is predominantly Democratic. I'm sure almost all of these districts are 70% Democratic. So I think just having her look at the House map we have in place right now is probably going to have the same analysis, just because this area is just so Democratic in the Metro Detroit area. I mean, there just isn't, I mean, none of these districts I would expect to vote Republican at all. And I don't think that's going to vary between the first map we started with and what I changed here. Now, what I will try to do is, because I worked on this, I will try to meld it in with our existing map and then resubmit it so that John and Secretary of State can repost it, so that we have a complete map that we can look at.
When I said I wanted to do an analysis tonight, I was thinking about a complete map. I wasn't thinking about just the Detroit area.
Yeah.
So that we don't have that at this point.
No.
No.
But I will definitely work on it tomorrow and over the weekend if I need to, so.
Okay, so this discontiguity is a block between two districts. So you would either put it in 9 or 16.
Put it into 16, please. Cynthia, Commissioner Orton.
I'm thinking, since you used the other map that we're working on to do this, if you merge them, and it shouldn't take much to fix up around. So it'd be great if we could have it analyzed.
If you could put that into 16, that part of 21 into 16, please. Commissioner Rothorn?
So what I'm thinking about is, tomorrow morning, we'll be here, we'll be in Novi, in Troy, we'll be in Troy tomorrow at 9 o'clock or at 10? Okay, at 9 o'clock. So I'm just thinking about, that's an awfully late night and an early morning for you. Okay. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't guarantee it's going to be ready at 9 in the morning. That's all I'm saying. So.
Okay, the discontiguities are adjusted.
Okay. All right. So that, yeah, then I would post that out on the website so that everybody can look at it. And like I said, I'm sure we are going to get lit up with comments about it.
Yeah, and just to clarify, generally any plan that you work on during the day, we would post at the end of the day. So I think that's the procedure.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we can get that feedback, which I'm sure will be abundant, and everybody can look at it and we'll go from there. But beyond that, we're at 7:51, guys. So, and we have a 9 a.m. in the morning. So let's wrap up our agenda and move on. So we do not have any new business to discuss at this time. There are no minutes to approve and there are no staff reports. Without objection, I will ask Sarah Reinhardt from Michigan Department of State if she has a report.
I do not.
All right, no report. Correspondence received in advance of our meeting today was provided along with the written public comments to the commissioners in our meeting materials. It's my understanding there's no future agenda items to share. Are there any announcements? All right, seeing none. As the items on the agenda are completed and the commission has no further business, a motion to adjourn is in order. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Witches. Seconded by Commissioner Lett. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, please raise your hand and say nay. The ayes prevail and the meeting is adjourned at 7:50.